What's going on, everyone? So there is a lot of questions and expectations for the Lakers this upcoming season. Obviously, a trade would do wonders. I do think the Lakers need multiple trades if they really want that real ceiling raise, because I just don't think that there's anybody that is that significant of a ceiling raise where by themselves kind of changes the fate for the Lakers. But I do think that the Lakers are still in good position, even as currently constructed, to really make some noise. Now, I wouldn't bet on them to win a championship, but I don't think anyone would be surprised if the Lakers won a championship, right? Still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I think that you add in their Olympic run and, them kind of potentially being in mid-season form right out the gate, on top of a motivated LeBron James playing alongside his son. You add in hopefully better health overall for the roster. You add in better coaching, right? However you feel about JJ Redick, whether you think that he's an upgrade or not over Darvin Ham, I think he is. But however you feel about it, there's no question that the overall coaching staff is better than what the product was with Darvin Ham. So put all these together, right? Another year of chemistry. And just development as a team, I do think that they have the potential to be one of the better teams in the Western Conference and potentially the NBA, right? We'll see how it all plays out. But there is also a concern and questions given the new schedule. We got the schedule released yesterday, and it's tough. Now, you can argue it is better than last season, right? Less back-to-backs, less 3 games in 4 nights, right? So it's better spaced out, but they have some brutal stretches and just some brutal runs. But like you look at the first 10 games. Let's look at the first 10 games. You have Minnesota, Phoenix, Sacramento, which by the way, Sacramento and Phoenix are back-to-back games, right? So right off the bat, you have 3 very hard games in which 2 of are back-to-backs. Then you have a 5-game home or a road trip after having a 3-game homestand, which is great, but again, 2 are back-to-backs. And you have Phoenix, Cleveland, Toronto, Detroit, and Memphis. And then you go back to LA, in which you play Philadelphia and Toronto. So out of the 5 home games you have in the first 10 games, out of the 5 home games, only 1 is against a team that the Lakers should, without a doubt, beat in Toronto, right? Philadelphia, Sacramento, Phoenix, and Minnesota is brutal. And then the road trip, you have really only 2 teams in which you should beat, and that's Toronto and Detroit. But you have Phoenix, Cleveland, and Memphis. Now, the Lakers, I do think, will beat Phoenix one of those times. Even Toronto, you're playing them twice in like a 5-game span, which is crazy. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of these, like, you play a team literally back-to-back games. Or, you'll play a team twice in like a 3-day or 3-game span, right, with the Phoenix. It's just a lot of those kind of sprinkled in. So you look at the first 10 games and it's like, man, like Lakers could be 5-5. They could be like 2-8. They could be, it's just, there's so many possibilities. Now, I do think in particular, those first 5 games, I think will be very interesting. But there's also the concerns of like, new head coach trying to figure out his rotation, trying to figure out his guys. Usually, like you look at last season, D'Lo and Reeves and a lot of these guys started off very sluggish. Were not very good early on. D'Lo eventually ended up having a historic level season for him in general, but it wasn't until, 20 plus games in, and also JJ Redick, you got to imagine it's going to take him a couple games to kind of get comfortable and really fully be in the driver's seat as the head coach. That's concerning. But then you look at the last 10 games. Let's take a look at the last 10 games. You have Indiana, Chicago, Memphis, Houston, Golden State, New Orleans, OKC, Dallas, Houston and Portland. By the way, both OKC games and Dallas are on the road. Indiana, Chicago, and Memphis are on the road. It's just, again, it's so tough. The schedule is so tough. And one of the things that the Lakers have done the last few years, which is concerning, is they've put themselves in a position where the last 20 games of the season have been basically do or die, have been completely dire, right? And the Lakers have luckily been able to kind of win enough games to squeeze into that 7 seed, but it's just, you can't mess around, right? You look at the Lakers' schedule and you look at how things are shaping up, and it's just there's just zero margin for error. There's no real room to really risk anything. You gotta just take every game serious. And I mean, you have to do that regardless in the Western Conference. You just look at how stacked the West is. It's insanely stacked. I mean, look, the Lakers won 47 games last year and still finished in the 7th seed. Any other year, they're, at least top 6. So the fact that they finished with 47 wins and still were a play-in team tells you all you need to know. And then you look at the other, you just look at the schedule. It's just brutal. But, I still think that the Lakers really need a trade, right? I just think that they need to pull off a significant trade or two if they really want to make a move. Now, look, that doesn't mean that you just make a trade just to make a trade. It doesn't mean you just look at this schedule and you go, oh, that's it. You got to just do something, give up both first for Jeremy Grant. I don't think you need to go that extreme, but I do have my concerns that, if you don't make a move, you could, even by the trade deadline, let's say you do make a move at the trade deadline, by that point, it might be too far behind the 8 ball, right? This isn't 2 seasons ago. And unless it's that significant trade, or, whatever, you're bringing in a Giannis or something, just an example of a real ceiling raise. Unless somebody like that, I don't know if, midway through the season, Jeremy Grant and, Wendell Carter Jr. changed the fate for the Lakers, right? But again, no trade is better than a bad trade. And you don't want to seem desperate, because the more desperate you seem, the more you're going to get fleeced, and the more you could be in a worse position. You could always get worse, right? So it's definitely an area of concern. But if you can, turn some of these guys that have been rumored that the Lakers are trying to unload into just better fits and just maybe slight upgrades, that would go a long way, right? Because even if you, let's say, have 50% of winning the championship, just to use a number as an example, if you can make a trade and even bump that up to 55%, right? That's better than 50, right? You do it, right? Whatever you can do to give yourself the best chance possible, I think is very important and should be done by all means. But, look, again, you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You have 2 top 10 players in the league still. You have 2 guys that are coming off of a incredible Olympic performance. 2 guys that, have motivation and should be right out the gate ready to dominate, rather than, you got to kind of build up and get into your rhythm and all that. No, Anthony Davis and LeBron James just played some very high-level basketball in which both of these guys delivered on the biggest stage imaginable and were absolutely huge. Both guys closed and played heavy minutes in the final Olympic game for the gold medal and beating France, right? This is not a year to mess around. And these guys, obviously we need them healthy, but we need them out the gate being the best versions of themselves. Obviously, you want to get other guys involved. Obviously, you need other guys to step up, right? It's a 5-on-5 game, not a 2-on-5 game, right? Anthony Davis and LeBron James, we've seen them be great, and we still lose, right? So we need to collectively, as a team, come together, get this done. But we need our leaders to be the best leaders possible from the jump immediately. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you have your concerns with the schedule? Do you think the Lakers are already cooked? Do you think, nah, they'll be fine, they'll be good? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So if you enjoy these types of videos, I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.